Welcome to Sussex Squadron, the home of truth, courage, and unstoppable voices. Here, we cut through the noise, challenge the crown, and celebrate the strength of Harry and Meghan as they carve their own path. This isn't just commentary, it's a movement. Strap in, Squadron. The flight begins now. Gather your teacups, center your hearts, and lean in close. Because today's story is not just a headline, not just a press release. It is a masterclass in vision, legacy, and leadership. It is about a man who stepped away from the trappings of the crown, only to prove that real power comes not from titles but from action. Today we're talking about Prince Harry and the latest chapter in his groundbreaking sustainability initiative, Travalyst. Yes, my friends, buckle up, because what we are witnessing is not gossip, it's history. Now, here's the news. Travel just announced that its CEO, Sally Davy, will be stepping down in December 2025, after 5 transformative years at the helm. Let's pause right here, because 5 years in the travel industry, especially leading a non-profit coalition in a profit-hungry world, is no small feat. It is a triumph. It is endurance. It is proof of both stability and success. And when you layer Harry's name, his founding vision, and his unshakable commitment onto this story, what you get is not drama, not chaos, but pure legacy building. Of course, you already know what the tabloids will try to do. Their one and only weapon is negativity. They will twist the narrative into Travalyst in turmoil, or Harry loses CEO, because heaven forbid they ever acknowledge that this man they spend their waking hours slandering is actually building something bigger than ribbon cuttings and balcony waves. But here's the truth. This is not collapse. This is continuity. It is a natural leadership transition after a wildly successful chapter, and Harry's own statement made that crystal clear. He thanked Sally Davy for her drive, her commitment, and her extraordinary contributions to expanding Travalyst's global reach. And then, in that classic Harry fashion, he reminded the world, this is just the beginning. Take a moment and savor that. While his father is out here stumbling over pens and protocol, Harry is laying bricks for an institution that will long outlive individuals. Travalyst isn't a vanity project. It isn't a hobby. It is a coalition of some of the biggest players in the travel industry: Booking.com, Expedia, Skyscanner, Trip.com, the titans of tourism, united under one vision: sustainability. And make no mistake, they are reporting to Harry, not because of a crown, not because of inherited status, but because his credibility and vision command respect. That right there is the difference between borrowed power and earned power. And let's talk about comparisons, shall we? Because the contrast is almost comical. What are the so-called working royals doing right now? Cutting ribbons at community centres, looking miserable at photo ops, delivering climate speeches while boarding private jets like they're ordering Uber rides. Yes, William, I said it. Your Earthshot prize may look flashy on stage with celebrities and glossy lights, but where is the measurable systemic impact? Where are the metrics, the policies, the standards? Harry's Travalyst is delivering real-world change, actual guidelines for airlines, actual standards for hotels, actual opportunities for communities. That is substance. That is leadership. Let me pull out one line from Harry's statement because it is worth engraving in gold. Tourism must create more opportunities for the communities it touches, and that work can't wait. Now pause. Read that again. That is not fluff. That is clarity. That is urgency. That is leadership stripped of ego and aimed at justice. Tourism cannot just be about the privileged sipping cocktails in luxury resorts while locals are left behind. It has to uplift. It has to create jobs, dignity, and sustainability. And Harry is making sure that message isn't drowned in noise. Notice the tone of his statement as well. There was no fear, no panic, no defensiveness. Instead, it radiated confidence and excitement. He spoke of welcoming new leadership to, accelerate the mission and deepen the impact. That's not a man clutching at straws. That's a founder watching his vision flourish. It's the ultimate proof that he has built something strong enough to outlast personalities. And here's where the irony stings the monarchy. While they cling desperately to individual members because the institution is hollow without them, Harry has built an institution so solid that new leaders can only build higher. That's not fragility, that's durability. Now, let's give Sally Davy her flowers because she has earned them. Under her leadership, Travalyst grew from an ambitious idea into a global force. She structured it, gave it credibility, and expanded its influence. She is leaving not in scandal, not in collapse, but in triumph, with the ship sailing smoothly. That is how leadership transitions are supposed to look. Compare that to Buckingham Palace, where every transition, every coronation, every marriage, every succession is drenched in drama, leaks, and whispers. Travalyst has integrity, the palace has dysfunction. Spot the difference. And oh, let's brace ourselves because we know what's coming. The haters, the bitter voices who declared years ago that Harry would fail, that Travalyst was doomed, that he had no vision outside the monarchy. Those same voices now will try to spin Sally's departure into proof of failure, but the facts, cold, hard facts, say otherwise. Travalyst has grown every single year. It has expanded its partnerships. It has normalized sustainability in an industry that once treated it as optional. And remember, Harry launched this 6 years ago, before sustainability was trendy, before it was a buzzword in boardrooms. That's called foresight. That's called leadership. He didn't follow the wave. He made it. And this, right here, is why Harry is such a threat to the establishment. He exposes them. He reveals the shallowness of their so-called work. When he builds systems that change industries, their ribbon cuttings look like play acting. When he delivers measurable impact, their speeches sound hollow. And when he steps onto the global stage without crown, without scepter, and still commands CEOs, they realize their centuries-old institution is a costume party without substance. Let's be brutally honest. If Harry weren't around, who in that family could carry the torch of meaningful impact? William, whose biggest claim to fame lately is looking like a stressed football coach at soccer matches. Kate, who spent years trying to copy Meghan Sussex's brilliance with initiatives that never move beyond glossy brochures. Charles, whose climate speeches are drowned out by the chaos of his own household. No, none of them. The torchbearer is Harry. It has always been Harry. And in this moment, what we see is confirmation. Sally Davy leaves after success, not scandal. Harry's founding vision remains intact. His commitment is unwavering. He even said it himself. I remain as committed to this cause now as I was when I founded Travalyst 6 years ago. That is not lip service, that is a vow. That is continuity. That is everything the monarchy wishes it could claim, but never can. So what comes next? Sally's successor will inherit a thriving, respected platform. Harry and the board will continue pushing for deeper impact. And the industry knows now, this is no vanity project. When Harry speaks about sustainability, CEOs listen. When he calls for systemic change, corporations adjust. That's influence. The kind of influence you cannot fake. The kind of influence you cannot inherit. The kind of influence that comes only from credibility and consistency. And yet, across the ocean, the palace continues its charade. They keep gaslighting us into believing Harry is struggling in California. Struggling? The man who built Travalyst, signed multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify, published a record-breaking memoir, and is raising his children in peace. No, darling. The only ones struggling are the royals left behind, clinging to outdated performances that fewer and fewer people care to watch. So today, let us celebrate this moment for what it is. Proof. Proof that Harry's legacy is thriving beyond royal walls. Proof that sustainability is not a fad but a movement he helped spearhead. Proof that impact outlives gossip. Sally Davy departs with her head high. Travalyst sails forward stronger than ever. Harry's vision grows deeper roots. And the British media? They remain stuck recycling palace drama because reality keeps proving them wrong. And here is the contrast I want you to take with you. On one side, you have an institution drowning in irrelevance, surviving only on tabloids, pomp, and balcony waves. On the other, you have a man who walked away, rolled up his sleeves, and built something that actually matters. One side clings to titles, the other wields credibility. One side sells gossip, the other delivers change. Between the two, I know who history will remember. So let me leave you with this truth. Systemic change is not easy, it is not glamorous. It requires vision, humility, persistence, and courage. And in that family, only one royal has shown all four, consistently. Prince Harry, the founder, the leader, the changemaker, the man who walked away from the crown and walked straight into real power.